I think, frankly, a lot of folks didn't know, a lot of you didn't know what we've been doing, and that's shame on us. My apologies. I hope you understand where we're headed. This organization from the beginning has had two priorities: to connect you, make it easy to connect, either for business or social reasons, and to give back to the communities in which you live and work. I think we can be very, very proud of the work that's been accomplished with the support of the P&G alumni around the world. I do want to make one announcement. One of your fellows here, Ruth, where are you? All right? Yeah, stand up. Ruth Reuters has, working with one of his clients who's asked to remain nameless, has just donated $50,000 to help us in this work. Thank you very much. Okay, we now come to a very special part of AMI conference and reunion here. Since the founding of the Global Network, we have honored some of the best of what is truly a remarkable group of people, all of you. The basic belief of this organization is that the reputation of Procter & Gamble as an acknowledged leader in business may be as much the result of the accomplishments of people who left the company as those who stayed. In honoring our award winners tonight, we honor all of those who have passed through this company and made it great. I truly believe it's intended to honor all of you. Our first award is for community service. It recognizes an individual who has made a significant contribution of their time, effort, and expertise to the community in which they live.
Our honoree tonight joined Procter & Gamble with the acquisition of Richardson Vicks. He was general manager, Richardson Vicks Mexico at the time, which is where I first met him. Subsequently, he was CEO of P&G India and vice president of P&G Far East between 1985 and 1992. It is hard to think of an individual who has had a greater impact on the community in which he lives than this man. His book, India Unbound, changed how the world looks at India, and while he could have gone on into more lucrative careers after P&G, he chose to become an author and economist, and is involved heavily in education and philanthropic work. In 2006, he was recognized for his decisive and valuable contribution to the Western world's understanding of the remarkable economic developments of India when he received a Medal of Honor from the Italian Senate. He has been heavily involved in numerous programs to improve education in India. Most notably, he is the chair for the Center for Civil Society, a nonprofit devoted to improving the quality of life for all citizens of India by reviving and reinvigorating civil society. They champion limited government, rule of law, free trade, and individual rights. In addition, he is also a trustee with the Indian Foundation of the Arts. IFA makes grants to individuals and organizations with the aim of filling important gaps in private and public assistance for culture and the arts in India. On Tuesday, the 28th of this month, our award winner will be receiving another recognition, a Lifetime Achievement Award from the Phi Beta Kappa Society at the commencement services at Harvard University, his alma mater. I believe the citation for this award says it all, and I quote, "As a result of his books, blogs, and columns, a whole generation in India now demands better governance and is more comfortable with free market ideas," end quote. I am proud to say he is also a member of the advisory board of the P&G Alumni Network. Ladies and gentlemen, a man who represents the best in all of us, our 2013 Community Services Award winner, Gursharan Das.
Thank you. The best reward is recognition from one's peers. and this means a lot to me. When I was working on my book, The Difficulty of Being Good, I realized that some nations have a code word which, like a key, unlocks the secrets of that country. America's code word is liberty, and much good and bad, including the Tea Party movement, is done on the name of liberty. The code word for France is égalité, and it explains the recent 75% tax and the 35-hour week in France. India's code word is dharma, D-H-A-R-M-A. Many of you know about karma, but dharma is really the word for our times. Dharma essentially means doing the right thing, an idea that P&Gers know a lot about. And also, you recall yesterday's speeches on capitalism addressed this. And it is especially appropriate today in India for the Robert Barron phase of our economy and society which we are passing through. And each corruption scandal in India is greeted not only with outrage, but people saying dharma has been wounded. Now, dharma, what makes it different, unlike the morality of the West, is that it does not seek moral perfection. It does not have the 10 commandments. And hence, it has historically been used by policymakers, political leaders who have to weigh the pros and cons of often too imperfect policies. A ruler is constantly exhorted in our literature that his job is to uphold dharma for the benefit of the people and away with for the benefit of the people, and that the ruler should shun those who say they have moral clarity. I learned about dharma from this story of which my grandmother told me. It is about a good king, Yudhishthir, who is walking to heaven. And along the way, a stray dog attaches itself to him. And when he reaches heaven, he is greeted by the heaven keeper, who is the god Indra. And Indra says, "Welcome, great king. We have waited for this moment." Instead of going into heaven, the king asks, "But what about this dog?" And the god, Indra, says, "But he's not even your dog. He's just a dirty street dog. Besides, this is heaven, no dogs allowed." The king refuses to go into heaven. Now, I don't think anybody in this room would have done what the king did, not even John Pepper. But every child in every culture will understand the meaning of dharma from this story. The point of this story is that dharma, that it's an ambiguous world. Human beings are imperfect. Dharma is often hard to know, but an act of goodness is one of the very few things we possess as human beings. It allows us who are in the gutter to sometimes look at the stars. It brings coherence and order into our uncertain lives. And because it is ambiguous, it's a nice antidote to our fundamentalist times when far too many people think they have a monopoly on the truth and they're willing to kill for it. Thank you.
Our next award is the Alumni Humanitarian Award. It's presented to an individual who has made a significant contribution to the human condition through their time, effort, and expertise. The award is for actions that go well beyond a single community to serve mankind as a whole. Second.
This year's honoree spent 23 years at P&G, retiring in June 2002 after successfully building brands and developing marketing personnel globally. Her passion for serving the members of the worldwide coffee community began as a brand assistant on Folgers in 1979 and continued through her roles in food and beverage GBU, where she represented the company to the coffee industry. Her vision and leadership have now made a difference in the lives of thousands. She has designed, secured funding, and successfully deployed programs that have improved the sustainability of coffee farming in developing countries around the world. Our honoree has improved the lives of families, particularly women, working in the coffee industry in the following ways. As executive director of the Coffee Quality Institute, she established the Coffee Corps, which recruits highly skilled coffee experts that volunteer their time to travel to countries to help farmers improve the quality of their coffee, which contributes to farmers receiving higher prices when the coffee is sold. As of 2010, experts around the world had conservatively contributed over 77,000 hours, valued at $7.7 million. The program celebrated its 10th anniversary in January. In 2003, she and 5 other women founded the International Women's Coffee Alliance with a mission to empower women in the international coffee community to achieve meaningful and sustainable lives. The group now has 8 chapters in Central and South America and Eastern Africa. The work benefits entire families and communities as the increased economic power of these women enables them to contribute to schools, hospitals, and other community services. She also played a major role in having representatives of the IWCA participate in the International Coffee Organization's 2010 World Coffee Congress in Guatemala. This was the first time the role of women was featured at this event, which is attended by senior-level representatives from both business and government. Clearly, touching lives has been this woman's calling. Ladies and gentlemen, the 2013 Humanitarian Award winner, Ms. Margaret Swallow.
Wow, this is amazing. I'd like to thank everyone involved with this event. It's my first time I've attended a P&G Alumni Conference, and it's been awesome. I'd like to also thank Kathy Finley, who is here tonight, who served with me on the board of the International Women's Coffee Alliance and who submitted my nomination for this award. Most importantly, I'd like to thank my husband, Tim, who is here, because when I go running into his office saying, honey, I've got to get on a plane and go to India or Kenya or Nicaragua to help my coffee sisters, he says, fine. What can I do to help? And I would not be able to have done the work I've done these past 10 years without his love and support. I could talk for hours, but I won't. However, I'm available if you ever need a speaker on women's issues. But I've done my best to be concise, but hopefully also informative. And I'm going to start with a magic trick. Using just my 2 hands, I am going to demonstrate the global coffee supply chain, which is the number 2 commodity in worldwide trade after oil. Because think of where it's grown, the developing world, and think of who buys the coffee, the developed world, okay? So millions of people, hundreds of countries, and I'm going to do it really quickly. Here's my right hand holding a cup of coffee. That is the final state of the global coffee supply chain, because that is when the coffee is brewed and consumed. And here's my left hand, but this isn't my left hand. It's the left hand of people like Miguelina in Guatemala, and Mabula in Kenya, and Renuka in India, because the reality is coffee is hand-picked, and most of that work is done by women. I've given many speeches and presentations around the world these past 10 years, and I often start with a simple statement followed by a question. Here's my simple statement. We all know Juan Valdez. Think of it. The Juan Valdez brand was created in 1958 by the Colombian Coffee Federation, and even though marketing support has ebbed and flowed over the years, it still shows up as one of the most recognized and loved brand icons in global studies. So we all know Juan Valdez. Here's my question. Why don't we know his wife? Yeah. We don't know Senora Valdez because she has grown up and lives in a country where women have limited access to education, and their role is to be seen and not heard. Here are some numbers from UNIFEM that really bring this to life. 66% of the world's work is done by women. Now, Francie Pepper and the rest of us in the audience aren't surprised by that number. 66% of the world's work is done by women. But the same UNIFEM study says that women earn 10% of the world's income and own less than 1% of the world's land. Over the past 10 years, I have sought to make a difference in these statistics for the millions of women that depend on coffee as their primary source of income for their family. As a result of this work, I have a much deeper understanding and appreciation of the challenges that women all around the world face, and particularly women in the developing countries of Central America, Eastern Africa, and India. Now, as part of my close, I need to take you all back to September 1980. That is when I was promoted from brand assistant on Folgers and was sent out on sales training. Now, it was a tradition back then that Warren Knock, the national coffee sales manager, would call the new person in or call the person in as they were getting ready to go out. And I ended up going into the New York sales district and later learned that about half of the warehouses I was selling coffee to were actually mafia money laundering operations. But that's another story. So 1980, it's truly an old boys network in the sales world. No women district managers, no women division managers. And now remember, you could also smoke in your office back then. So Warren, I'm sitting across from Warren, he's puffing away, blows some smoke in my face, and he says, Margaret, always remember to ask for the sale. That advice served me well on my sales training, and it has served me well in my life since. So I, in the spirit of full transparency, I'm going to ask for the sale, and my sale has 3 parts. First part, for those of you that are working in companies that have a global supply chain, please ask yourself, do I really understand the role that women play? And am I doing everything I can to encourage them and give them opportunities so their families can have a better life? Second part of my ask is, I believe most of you at your tables have this oversized postcard. The International Women's Coffee Alliance has received generous funding from the UN International Trade Center, which is here in Geneva, to fund most of our efforts in Eastern Africa. In November 19, 20, and 21, they're going to be in New Delhi, India, with a women's vendor symposium. There will be 7 business sectors where women from all over the world will be there, trade ready to do business with companies. The sectors are information technology, the building environment, clean and green technology, coffee, garments and apparel, office products and services, suppliers to major international events, and shipping and logistics. And I ask you, if you are in a position where you or someone at your company should consider going to this, there's 3 websites, lots of information. And even if you're not in a position of that, please take this and pass it on to someone who is. And my third part of my ask for the sale is, if you are like me and cannot imagine your world without a steaming cup of coffee in the morning or perhaps a small espresso midday, please consider supporting the International Women's Coffee Alliance. We are a 501c3 in the US. We have 16 chapters around the world. You can give directly to India. You can give directly to Kenya. You can give directly to Guatemala. I can help make those connections for you. So, on behalf of the millions of women that work from seed to cup, I humbly accept this award. Thank you.
We're going to diverge a little bit for just a moment for a very special honor. It's the first time we've done this, and I think the individual deserves to be the first to receive it.
Michael Cleary has served on the Alumni Network Board for many years. He, along with his partner in crime, Mohan, chaired the extremely successful London reunion in 2005 that some of you may remember. Throughout his involvement with the Alumni Network, Mike has been our primary liaison with the advertising agency partners. They have been the backbone of our sponsorship support for these reunions. His long-term relationship with the agencies have been an enormous help in maintaining their goodwill for almost the entire life of this organization. It goes without saying that we could not run these events without our agency partners, and we may not have had their strong support without Mike Cleary. I would also like to take this opportunity to congratulate Mike and Eleanor for their new granddaughter. Her mother, Lisa, that some of you may know, works for P&G Canada. For his invaluable contributions to the alumni of Procter & Gamble, we present Mike Cleary with the first ever Distinguished Service Award.
I've been involved with the Alumni Association for very selfish reasons, and I think it was been demonstrated over the last 2 days, because many of my very best friends are the people that I worked with at P&G, and they're the people that I'm happy to be still involved with. But actually, I'm really accepting this, as I think Ned quite honestly said in the little speech, because the agencies have been so generous in supporting and helping us in the alumni. They were our partners when we were working together in the business. They were our partners in building the business, and they have continued to be that partnership relationship in this alumni organization. And people like Kevin, Tim Love here, Jez, I don't know if you're still here, Tamara Ingram, all of those people have been great contributors to the success of Procter & Gamble's business because of the great advertising and other things that they've done for the business, but they've been a great contributor too. So I really am accepting this on their behalf, and my thanks goes out to the agencies who have helped us throughout the years. Thank you.
I think I first met Mike in 1975 back in Cincinnati. When he was an ABM on Safeguard. Since we last met in Toronto, the company and the alumni lost a very special person and friend with the passing of John Smale. At our first global reunion in 2003, Mr. Smale was given the first Alumni General Management Award. In September of 2000, 2011, while he was dealing with his illness, the board of directors voted unanimously to rename the General Management Award in his honor. And I'm very pleased to say we were able to let him know about this token of affection before he passed away. So this evening, we present the first John G. Smale General Management Award. It's presented to an individual who has made a significant contribution to the world of business, whether the result of a single event or concept or the compilation of a lifetime of achievements.
Our next honoree is a man of many talents. I met him first time in my life in 1985, and during the next 15 years, he had greatest impact on my way of looking at business. He had a very successful career at P&G, starting in marketing before becoming general manager of our UK company. He combined excellent business judgment with strong people skills. Without doubt, his time as GM produced some stunning business results in that country. When he left the UK, he moved into Europe, where he became Vice President of Home Care and Cleaning. He was appointed President in 1999. After he left P&G, he became Chief Executive Officer at the British Airport Authority before eventually becoming Chief Executive and Chairman. Every time I board a plane at Heathrow Terminal 5, I say my thanks. In 2008, he was named Chairman of HMRC, where he is currently the first non-executive Chairman of HMRC. In addition, he has been non-executive Chairman of Which, a magazine, non-executive director of ITV television station, and a managing director of Terra Firma EMI, a music company. In 1990, for his services rendered, he was named CBE by the Royal Order. Ladies and gentlemen, it gives me great pleasure. The John G. Smale General Management Award winner is my friend, Mr. Mike Clasper.
On such occasions, you talk about humility. I really feel quite humble. First of all, John Smale. I don't know whether Ed Arts remembers, but as a very young brand manager and then associate advertising manager, I went to the US. And I joined a company in the UK that I thought was a little special. But then I went to some of the year-end meetings. I'd only been with the company 4 or 5 years. And John stood up there and talked about the values of the company. And sort of my mind changed about how important this company was, because I think he just epitomized the values of the company. And I felt that I joined something much bigger than just a soap manufacturer. Then I stand here and I hear about what Margaret's done and what Gosharan's done. And I think there's no way I should be up here because their achievements are so significant. All I did was basically run a few organizations and hopefully make them a little bit better. And I did build Terminal 5, and I'm very proud of it. And I can explain why it's all crushed into that tiny place, and it's all to do with planning laws and airplanes and aircraft and motorways and things. But I did do quite a few things, possibly nothing as great as some of the people that you've heard about. I wanted to reflect a little bit about what did P&G give me that allowed me to be as successful in so many fields. And one of the joys of my life and what P&G has allowed me to do is have such an interesting set of careers. And there are, I think, 4 things that have made me, I've applied consistently in every place I've gone, and it's sort of worked. When I was thinking about saying these things, I thought about them before I got here, and then I listened to Kevin Roberts, who has always upset me almost throughout my whole life. And of course, when he said marketing was dead, I realized that what I was going to say was going to sound like a dinosaur. And I didn't sleep very well last night because I thought, could I fake that I'm no longer a dinosaur? but I decided not to. I'm a dinosaur and I'm proud of it, so I'm going to talk about these 4 principles. The first thing is the importance of having strategies in which you make real choices. So many people have strategies that everybody can agree with, but they avoid the tension of making real choices. The second thing is to look at the world through the eyes of your customers, not through the lens of your own organization. The third thing, when you've got those 2 things in the organization as a leader, is to encourage people to do 2 things, really. Find the little things that will change and make things better, and find the big transformational ideas that will make things better, and then make sure you allow them to go and do those things. Now, those 4 things, of course, they help in selling Ariel and Tide, but they work for passengers walking through Terminal 5. They work in the music industry. They work on all the wonderful subscribers that we have at Which that make it the wonderful non-profit organization that it is. And even intriguingly, they work, although in a slightly different way, for tax evaders. The benefits aren't quite the same. It's about making sure that their expectation of being caught and punished is very high. But the principles still apply, and they do make you successful. Now, all those things for this group in this room are all ideas that you could get from any management textbook, and they are sort of universal management theory. The thing that the people in this room and outside this room gave me was the confidence to ruthlessly follow them when other people wanted to push me away from them. It's the self-confidence to be able to do that. And I owe that to the great people that I work for, and I'm really proud to be in a room with some of them tonight and some of them who are not here. It's the people I worked alongside, and Dimitri will remember when he was in sales and I was in marketing in P&G Newcastle, I dare not say how, 20 years ago? I don't know. Yeah, possibly. It's actually 25, but don't tell anybody. And then also, and a lot of these people in the room, people who work for me, who help me keep me straight on those principles. So driving the confidence to follow those 4 things has been a great gift, and why I've enjoyed so many different and interesting roles. So a big thank you to everybody in the room and everybody outside this room who deserves that thanks. Thank you.
Our next award is for business innovation. The award is to recognize creativity that has been translated into business success.
Our honoree was appointed R&D head of Procter & Gamble by John Smale, who was concerned that P&G was no longer generating the kind of product innovation that had separated the company from its consumer goods rivals for generations. In this role, our colleague made both organizational and cultural changes that allowed the company to dramatically regain its footing. He combined both upstream technology development and downstream product development under one R&D head in each sector. The sectors got all the resources required for the complete development process without the challenge and inefficiency of technology transfer across organizations and reduced the potential for not invented here issues. With his brilliant intellect, he had this rare ability to make insightful connections from the same data others saw, leading to innovative new products. He expanded the Euro product model on a worldwide basis, insisting that new technologies, upgrades, and brands had to meet the needs of the world's most discerning consumers, wherever they lived. By developing breakthrough ideas that could be implemented worldwide, P&G gained economies of scale in product development, manufacture, raw material purchase, and marketing. He demanded a focus on big product ideas, big product edges, and therefore a major shift of resources away from incremental product improvements and marketing support. The result of these changes was an unprecedented flow of major upgrades and new brands during his tenure. Ladies and gentlemen, our 2013 Innovation Award winner, Mr. Wahib Zaki.
Unfortunately, Wahib's doctors have advised him not to travel, so he's unable to be with us tonight. But accepting the award in his honor is a dear friend, Mr. Ed Arts.
Say hello to everybody. It's so nice to be together with you again. I haven't seen so many of you in so long, and all of my colleagues and people I've worked with over the years, it's just a pleasure to be here. But this is about Wahib, who is, I'm sure, very sorry not to be here. He was looking forward to this. It means a lot to him. Recognition is something that he has always prized, particularly among his peers. Wahib Zaki is really one of the true icons of Procter & Gamble. We've had a few impressive managers over the years, but he belongs in a category with a few geniuses that the company has been fortunate enough to have hired. He started out as a process engineer in our plant in Belgium and helped develop systems that would enable us to produce synthetic detergents at a high level of efficiency and to maintain the performance that was written into the formula card. So he knew a lot about the end process before he got into formulation work, where he distinguished himself. He was one of the finest people to work with I've ever had any experience with in the company. He was fiercely competitive, my kind of guy. Passionate, zealous about excellence, about winning, about being competitive, about beating the hell out of competition. That was just Wahib through and through. I had the good fortune of working with him in Brussels when we were able to have Wahib join us or come back. He had been at Cincinnati, came back, and he did a shuttle with Gordon Brunner, who went to Cincinnati. And then when Wahib went to Cincinnati, Gordon Brunner came back to Brussels, and I was very fortunate, as was John Pepper, in having those two outstanding individuals working with us on the European business. Is one of the reasons why our European operations produced so many important product innovations during those years. Zaki went back to Cincinnati, worked with John as the head of R&D, and then I was fortunate enough to have him with me. And then after we both retired, I spent some time working with the Barilla Pasta Company in Italy and reached out for Wahib, who was really interested in working with me again, and he came down to Parma, and we invented some shelf-stable pasta that nobody had ever seen before, and it's still selling on the market today as one of his after-career tributes. It only proves that Wahib can do anything. So Wahib, wherever you are, and I hope you have a chance to hear that this resounding level of applause you're about to get. Bless you and congratulations on the most deserved of all the honors you've received.
Procter & Gamble has long been recognized as the preeminent consumer product in the world, or consumer product company in the world. Our final award of the evening is intended to honor that tradition. From the outset, the McElroy Award is intended to recognize significant contributions to the art and science of satisfying the consumer.
Chip Bergh is currently the President and Chief Executive Officer of Levi Strauss & Company, a leading global apparel company with sales in more than 110 countries. Before joining Levi Strauss, Chip worked for Procter & Gamble for 28 years and served in a number of leadership positions of increasing scope and complexity. Prior to retiring, Chip was the first P&G executive to lead the Gillette blades and razors business as Group President of Global Male Grooming, where he was responsible for the strategy, branding, and innovation of this $7 billion business. In this role, he led the integration of the blades and razors business into P&G, launched Fusion and Fusion Pro Glide to more than 80 countries around the world, and drove monthly share growth on that business for 63 consecutive months. Prior to leading male grooming, Chip was president of P&G's ASEAN, Australia, and India business. Most notably, he spearheaded P&G's rapid growth in emerging markets, creating a mandate to have a P&G product in every home in Asia. This was a visionary change in thinking, as P&G had previously focused its marketing on a product portfolio to serve the top end of the market. Chip challenged his team to create products with the right value that would reach a broader segment of the population. This approach led the transformation of P&G's overall Asia business. Chip has had an impact in every role he played as a leader at P&G. Bob McDonald once said, "Chip doesn't tell time, he is a watchmaker." Chip retired from P&G in September 2011 and joined Levi Strauss that same month. Chip was motivated to join Levi for a few simple reasons. First, the brands, including one of the most iconic brands in the world, Levi's. Second, the global nature of the business and the tremendous opportunity for growth. And third, like P&G, the values of the company are very strong and are about profits through principles. Richard Kaufman, former chairman of Levi's, said, "Chip Bergh is a strategic leader with a proven ability to build and grow brand powerhouses, bring new products to the mass market, develop innovative marketing campaigns, and capitalize on digital platforms to successfully drive brand awareness." Ladies and gentlemen, our McElroy Award winner, Mr. Chip Bergh.
Some others have said it already. I stand up here completely humbled by this award. I am incredibly honored. This is probably one of the most significant recognitions I've ever received in my life, in my career. When I joined P&G almost 30 years ago, I can distinctly remember walking into the general offices the first day, and I said, if I could make it to brand manager in this company, my career, my life will have been a success. Never in a million years did I think that I would go 28 years and have the incredible experiences of a lifetime and being blessed by this company, which means so much to me. The opportunity to live and work in Asia, where I met my wife, the opportunity to be the first guy in at Gillette and lead the integration of that business, and the opportunity to touch and improve lives around the world through our brands, including Pure. I was in Asia when the tsunami happened, and that's when the whole business model for Pure really changed. We realized that we could do something very meaningful with Pure in times of natural disasters. And it all goes back to that tragedy. I also have to admit I'm quite uncomfortable up here tonight. As the president and CEO of Levi's, I think this might be the second time in the last 18 months I've actually had a tie on. I am still wearing my Levi's, just for the record. But to get an award named after Neil McElroy, the guy who wrote the 3-page memo on brand management, I joined this company because of brand management. I still remember the brochure. And many of us in this room joined because of the whole concept of brand management, which has evolved and changed. I'm not sure I go so far as Kevin and say that marketing is dead, but brand management sure as hell has changed in this company since I was a young pup. I've loved the last 2 days. The opportunity to be here, I thought I was going to come basically to receive the award, network, see some old friends, and it has truly been inspiring when you consider the potential of the people in this room and what we can do to change the world and make it better. Not just the brain power, not just the human capital that we've got, but the financial resources that we have. And to Deborah's point, you know, if we all kind of step up a little bit, we can make an incredible difference and lead the way as P&G alumni in making a difference in this world. Last, I just want to sincerely thank Ed, Mick, Josie, Linda, Harry, who nominated me for this award, the entire organizing committee, the alumni board, for making this event way more meaningful than just a networking event and an opportunity to see old friends. I've been inspired, I've been challenged, and I believe if we all leave here with that notion of wanting to make a little difference, we can do that as P&G alumni. So thank you again very much.
For those of you who have been with us in other events, you'll note that the award has changed. We've gone to a new artist. Each one of these pieces is individually prepared by a wonderful artist. Once again, I believe we've honored some outstanding alumni for their outstanding careers. Congratulations, obviously, to them, but to all of you. You are a very special breed.